If your nutrition is in order, you'll have no problem putting on muscle mass with almost any type of workout program. That said, not all training programs are created equal. In other words, just because one program can produce muscle growth doesn't mean it's the most efficient. So, if you're not progressing as quickly as you'd like, then there may be a chance that it is, in fact, your training program that's holding you back. In this video, I want to share 7 obvious signs that your current training approach sucks and how you can fix it to achieve better muscle gains. Number 1, you're training to failure. Make no mistake, pushing yourself in the gym is absolutely necessary. Doing it in a way, however, that will allow you to make the most progress is the key. So, although Arnold's theory that the last 3 to 4 reps is what makes the muscle grow may have some merit, it can be easily misinterpreted and, if misused, can become the worst advice you take. Let's look at it from a practical standpoint. According to your program, you've got to squat 135 pounds for 3 sets. Here's what it looks like when you're training to absolute failure. Set number 1, 135 pounds for 8 reps, and you can't possibly do another rep. Set number 2, 135 pounds, 5 reps. And set 3, 135 pounds for just 3 reps. Due to cumulative fatigue, you're getting fewer reps each set. Not only did you hinder your performance in the squat, but you've made yourself useless for the remainder of the workout. Now, let's look at how your squats may have gone had you been a bit more conservative and used a target rep count according to your 1 rep max. Set number 1, 135 pounds for 6 reps. Set number 2, 135 pounds for 6 reps. And set number 3, 135 pounds for 6 reps. Because the level of muscular fatigue is much less, the following sets do not suffer. Not only will you have increased the total workload on squats, but the remainder of your workout will not have been in vain. My advice: stop a couple of reps short of failure on your main lifts and focus instead on total workload. Number 2, you're still benching 135 pounds. Do me a favor, think back a few months. Now tell me, how much were you benching 3 months ago? If you've been bench pressing or squatting, deadlifting, overhead pressing, or dumbbell curling the same weight for the same amount of reps, then you're not progressing. No progress equals no growth. This is happening because either 1, your program sucks, 2, you don't track your lifts, or 3, all of the above. My advice: start tracking your lifts, especially the big focal point movements. This will allow you to walk in the gym every single time with a goal. Number 3, training each muscle group once per week. A study that was published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research compared training 1 day per week using a split body workout versus 3 days per week using a full body approach. Researchers found that subjects who trained a single muscle group more frequently throughout the week, despite no changes in total volume, experienced significantly more muscle growth than the low-frequency group. A more recent meta-analysis on the effects of resistance training frequency for muscle growth concluded that, and I quote, "The current body of evidence indicates that frequencies of training twice a week promote superior hypertrophic outcomes to once a week." The most recent available research, however, suggests that overall training volume supersedes training frequency. In other words, it's not about how often you train a muscle group, but how much work you do. Now, before you dismiss either stance, understand this. First, increasing training frequency is a great way to increase volume. Second, strength is a skill. The more you practice a lift, the better you'll get at it. And if progressive overload is the main pathway by which we build muscle, it's critical that we train in a manner that will allow us to get stronger. My advice: Aim to train each muscle group at least twice per week. This will ensure you're getting sufficient volume for growth while also optimizing strength gains. Number 4, you're switching things up every week. It's 2020 and the idea of muscle confusion is about as real as the Easter Bunny. You're not confusing your muscle, you're just confusing yourself. If you're switching things up every week, then how can you possibly track your progress? If one week you're benching for heavy triples and the following week you're supersetting bench press with push-ups for sets of 20, how in the hell are you going to know if you're progressing? My advice, don't worry too much about changing exercise selection and instead focus on getting better at the ones you're performing. This will make progress 100 times easier to track and ensure you're headed in the right direction. Number 5, you're not strength training. Lifting weights is not about how much you can withstand the burn. It's not about how sweaty your shirt is when you walk out of the gym, and it's certainly not about how big you can make yourself appear with a savage pump. One study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research took 18 experienced lifters and randomly assigned them into one of two groups. The first group was performing 25 to 35 reps, and the second stayed within 8 to 12. Both groups performed 3 sets of 7 different exercises 3 times per week. Researchers found no significant differences in muscle mass between the two groups. However, they also found the higher load group, 8 to 12, made significantly greater strength gains. Now I know what you're thinking. You said to train heavier and then referenced the study showing lightweight produces the same amount of muscle as a heavier load. But you missed the point. It took the lighter load group 3 times the work to achieve the same amount of muscle growth and far less increases in strength. So sure, you can build muscle with lighter load training, but you're going to have to do 3 times the work. Now, let's look at what happens when we equate for volume. A study published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology compared low rep training, 3 to 5 reps, intermediate rep training, 9 to 11 reps, and high rep training, 20 to 28 reps, with total volume being equal. They found that the low rep group and the intermediate rep group made significantly greater muscle gains than the high rep group. What does this mean to you? Intensity matters. Lift heavier weight. Number 6, you're pumped for every workout. Look, we all love training. For some people, it's the best part of their day. I get that. But if you're energized, pumped, and ready to give 110% every single session, then I hate to break it to you, you're not training hard enough. You see, when a trainee pushes their body day after day, week after week, and month after month, their central nervous system starts to take a hit. You then begin to enter a state of overreaching where you start to feel taxed, tired, and maybe unmotivated. In any solid training program, we must push through to this overreaching state. If you can manage to train month after month without ever overreaching, then you simply are not pushing hard enough consistently. My advice, follow a set program that utilizes percentages. This will ensure that you're training with enough intensity to push you through to a state of overreaching where you can then back off, super compensate, and come back stronger. Number 7, you're not deloading. Deload, a planned reduction in volume and or intensity, usually for one cycle of your training split, whose purpose is to allow the body to dissipate accumulated fatigue, allow a full recovery, and prepare you for progress. This is very similar to number 6. If you've been training for 3 to 6 months without ever have taken a deload and are still performing and feeling great, your training sucks. You're either 1, not training with enough intensity, or 2, you're not doing it on a consistent basis. My advice, include planned deloads into your training program. Go hard for X amount of weeks and then treat yourself to that deload where you're performing the same number of sets and reps but lifting only 50% of your working weight, or lifting the same working weight but slashing sets and reps in half. This will allow you to come back rested, potentiated, and stronger. Final thoughts. Even the most basic of programs can produce muscle gains, but as I mentioned before, some approaches are simply more effective than others and thus can provide the same results faster. If you enjoy your training the way it is, despite me telling you it sucks, that's completely fine. So long as you're progressing, you'll make out okay. But if you're looking for a complete, done-for-you training and nutrition guide guaranteed to add slabs of muscle to your frame in the next 90 days, then claim your free copy of my book, Bulk Up Fast. The book has already been paid for. All you have to do is cover the small shipping fee. Just click the link in the description, tell me where to ship it, and I'll send it to you anywhere in the world. Did you find this video helpful? If so, click the like button below, as it'll truly help out the channel. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Peace.